But this is a cooking show, right?
Yeah, this is a cooking show. You were talking earlier. You had this recipe for pizza toast. You still working on your pizza toast recipes?
I am. I have started using focaccia bread,
Focaccia?
and yeah,
What kind of bread is that? That hard bread that's already comes
no,
on?
no, no.
Oh.
Exactly the opposite. Like a very soft, pillowy type bread, and you can get it at bakeries and supermarkets, and they put all kinds of different things in there. Sometimes there's cheese, sometimes there's peppers and olives.
In the bread?
You're right in the bread. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know they had the technology for such things. I'm still getting over the olive loaf that you can get. How do they get the olives in that loaf? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
You ever had that kind of stuff, or like olives built into your bologna or whatever?
I've seen it in the stores, but I don't get it for the same reason that I don't get that other stuff that's basically ground up pig snouts. I can't remember what that's called.
Oh, I didn't know you was on a health kick.
So get some focaccia bread. Put your sauce on there, whatever toppings you want. Put it in the oven and put it on broil. So you're really concentrating the heat on the top of it.
Oh, is that what broil means? I never knew. I always knew it was like a different thing, but I was like, what is it? It's a box that gets hot. You know what I mean? What could be the difference? But I guess at the top, that makes sense. Yeah.
That's French broil.
Is it broil with cheese?
That's related to that. Yeah,
Oh,
a little different. Yeah.
all right. I'm gonna start recording now and do the intro. Hey everybody, welcome in. That's your old pal Sock Cop, and I'm of course joined as always by my co-host. How you doing there?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
Well, I'm doing spectacular. I'm hanging out. I just realized that my microphone's not plugged in, so I hope you can hear me. Okay, is it coming across all right?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
No, don't mess with me like that. Well, anyway, we got a great show today. We talked to our good pal Ibzy. He made Duck Race.
Duck race.
Duck Race, yes, indeed he is. It's a game in which you race ducks.
Oh.
Yeah. The name is a little bit misleading, because you think it's going to be about one thing, because it's called Duck Race, and then you're like, oh, it's about duck races. Oh, okay.
Right.
Racing ducks.
I had not heard of that.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a fun game.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's super.
So it's ducks.
Yeah.
And how many ducks?
Well, it's up to you, really. Each person gets their own duck. So however many people are playing gets their own duck. I think my limit is like 30-something.
And then the idea is that you're trying to get your duck to the finish line first.
Yes. Yeah. It's sort of a general race kind of a concept. It is complicated, but we do go into a pretty good in-depth conversation to talk about it. So I think by the end of it, everybody should be pretty well versed in the racing of the ducks.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look this up. Are there obstacles?
Yeah, there are obstacles.
Like
Most certainly are obstacles. Well, there's about like rocks and things. Bridges, posts in the ground, stuff like that.
People from Oklahoma with guns.
No, there's none of that. It's not a violent. They're not shooting the ducks. They're more like rubber ducks, really. They don't really, make a lot of noise or anything. They squeak when they run into each other, which I don't think a real duck does.
Oh, and nobody wants to hunt those either.
No, you don't want to hunt a rubber duck. Too a little chewy,
Right.
Even if you use that good sauce for the Chinese place, it ain't gonna taste good.
Right.
So there we go. So here's my conversation with Ibzy. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to introduce to you. He's a father. He is a game developer. He is a proper English gentleman. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Ibzy. Ibzy, how you doing, my friend?
Me what? I didn't expect to be asking another question just as I was taking a sip.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. I probably should have been like, 3, 2, 1 or something. That's what professionals do. But I forget that part. You are the creator of Duck Race. Tell me a little bit about your journey to making a video game. Is this the first video game you've made, or what you got going on there?
It's the first that's ever been like properly commercially released, I guess.
Uh-huh.
So I've been wanting to do game development for most of my life, really. Started way back when with RPG Maker, back in 1998, I think.
Oh man, yeah, that was a lot of fun. The RPG Maker gimmick.
Yeah, you could make a load of like really quick and easy kind of like classic Final Fantasy style games. Grew up on those kind of games myself. Big fan of Final Fantasy 7. My brother introduced me to that at an early age when that came out on PlayStation.
Oh yeah, that was my introduction to the RPGs and stuff too. Was Final Fantasy 7. I rented that from the Blockbuster, and I was like, oh my goodness, this changes everything.
Yeah, it's such a good game. Really pleased with what they did with the remake as well. They did a great job with that. But yeah, so obviously from playing that, and it was about the era that emulators were coming in, so we could get SNES emulators and stuff on the PC and stuff.
Oh yeah.
That opened up the opportunity to play the older Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy 1, 2, 6,
right,
which were like the 2D pixelated type deals. So spending a lot of time playing those after being familiarized with Final Fantasy 7. So when it came to RPG Maker, the genre was Street's the kind of game I like to play. The art style was easy because it's average level pixel art, but there were a lot of people doing sprite sheets and everything on the internet, so it was very easy to get assets to make a game.
Right.
We didn't have coding classes at school like you do these days.
Right.
So it was all self-learning and everything like that. And then probably about 10 years ago, I caught wind of game engine called Unity, which is free to use as like an individual. And I think it's something like if you earn over $100,000, I think, revenue from a game that you create in the engine, then you have to apply for a pro license and everything like that, which I can't remember what it costs. But if I ever get to that point, I'm not really going to worry about spending a little bit of money on license for the.
That'd be a nice problem to have right there. I'd be like, oh no, I've made over $100,000.
Oh no!
Now I have to give them like $100 or whatever.
Yeah, I'll sit there at 99,900. I'll be like, cancel, stop selling it.
It's over. No more duck race for anybody.
So yeah, I started dabbling with that, which uses C# as a programming language. Which at this point in my life, I was starting to get more into coding professionally. So I'm an analyst by trade, and data analyst using SQL mainly is the programming language. But to get to where I am, I was learning some PHP to do some PHP coding, to be able to pull information out of a database and display it on the website. So HTML as well, some CSS style sheets. These various kind of like quite entry level coding skills, to just do a little bit more with the data that I was having to analyze and do reports and all that. Yeah, and bore you with all that. It just meant that I was more kind of, I'm trying to think how to word it. Like my brain was a little bit more switched on to how coding languages work.
Right. Yeah.
As a result, able to pick up C# a little bit easier, which is the language that Unity uses. A nice 3D user interface for creating the levels and things. I think I've skipped a step. I think at one point I tried to learn to fully create an engine in C++ using DirectX.
Oh wow, that's a big step.
Yeah, I was following a tutorial to like get it to render something kind of like original Doom level 3D art, 3D style. Got so far through that, and it started to kind of go over my head, all memory management and pointers and stuff that I don't want to have to work out. It's very dangerous stuff. You can crash your computer quite severely and do things like that. So
that's scary.
Yeah, very scary. So I was like, okay, too much for me. Take a step back. And then and so Unity then came in, and that they handle all that for you. It's a game engine that you can use, and started dabbling with various different things. A couple of little prototypes. If you've got quite a creative mind, depending on what your focus is. I mean, musicians obviously they'll just start playing a guitar and come up with some random amazing riff that changes the world. me, I have a million game ideas running through my head, different mechanics, different stories, different genre mashups, that kind of thing. So I was putting them all into an engine. It's like, oh yeah, here's an idea, bash that out, create a prototype, great, looks good. And you start going through it, and you get to a point where you either lose passion for it, or you hit the boring aspect of game development. For me, that's UI, where you've got your buttons and your menus, and absolute pain to try and program. It's as I've been doing it more recently, it's not that bad, but it can be quite daunting understanding how to have everything like linked together and interact with each other. So a lot of my projects like they'd get so far and then I'd drop them because I didn't get about it anymore. It was getting too difficult. It was getting too boring. Or I'd just have a brand new idea that I wanted to use that would not fit with the game that I was making. And there were a plethora of like tools and options out there for free assets, so you can get stuff off the Unity Asset Store. There's Mixamo, I think it's called, from Adobe, that do animations, fully rigged animations and characters.
Ooh.
So that's really cool if you want to just like, you can get a run animation, a jump animation, etc. So you can do all that, and that's pretty handy. So not being able to do any art myself, 3D or otherwise, was not as much of a hindrance as I was expecting it to be.
Oh, that's good, yeah. Because that's always been the problem with mine. Anytime I try to make something, kind of interact, I've dabbled in trying to make some video games and things like that. But that's sort of where I do. I get like the, it always comes with like, oh, here's a little stick man or whatever you can make run around. And I'm like, okay, well, let's make the stick man turn into something else. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't have this skill. And then I just shut down the computer and go eat a sandwich or something.
Yeah.
But it's easier these days because you can, like in the case with Duck Race, you don't have to worry about a whole lot of run animations or anything because they're just ducks.
No.
And they just go like,
that's the beauty of it. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, that's an excellent duck impression, too, floating down the river.
Thank you. I've been practicing.
I can tell.
My camera's flickering quite a bit right now. I'm not sure what's going on.
Is it a windy day at the beach down there?
Yeah. And say the Wi-Fi's weak at the beach.
No.
I'm not sure if you can see it on your end, but yeah, I'm all over the place.
Well, yeah, look at that. It actually kind of works out because you're in my TV VCR combo, so it just looks like maybe the VCR is a little dirty. Is all it is. And you clean the heads. Yeah, I gotta adjust the tracking on this thing. But other than that, it's totally fine.
Well, if that's the case, I'll leave it as it is. That's fine.
It's totally cool. Come see no
okay.
problem. So how did you get? So you started doing the, dabbling in all the things. How did you get to? Because Duck Race is a different type of thing. You were talking about all these different ideas with stories and whatnot that you had, and then you got to. But now it integrates with Twitch. So what made you go towards that route?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've had like very ambitious project ideas in my head, and one thing that you definitely need to be able to make these things is money.
Oh yeah,
like having a full-time job, great, but you have bills to pay. So to have the money to put into a side project, you need side money, really, don't you? So it's like, well, I'm not going to be able to create like a big MMORPG that will allow for enough for me to make the big bucks that I want to be able to make more big MMORPGs. So I looked around to see what was quick and easy to make, just a little bit more limited on what it needed work-wise to actually have something that worked. So third person, anything, you need to animate your character, you need to deal with all your movement, your animation, your audio, the lot. And I was like, that's a bit too much. First person, that's a little bit better. First person movement, you haven't got to animate the character, you just got a couple of hands going on there, that should be fine. It's still a little bit too much for me. So I actually started with a couple of Android games for mobile.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, the first one was called Ball Lake, which is, I think it's more of a British term for something that's quite stressful, a bit annoying, frustrating. It's a ball lake.
Ball lake?
Yeah. as in testicles.
Oh, I understand. Yeah, I get it now. That's pretty good.
But the game itself was just a bit of, it weren't quite idle. It's like a hyper casual game. You using the gyro on the mobile phone, which you can't see me tilting with my hands right now.
Yeah, it's going cattywampus. Is there anything that we could do? Because it was fine at first, but now it started to drive me nuts.
It's just too much. Give us a second. I'll see what we can do.
You want to take a break, read some ads?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Today's show is sponsored by, oh, wait a minute. Oh, Nobody.
So, using the gyro on your phone, so you tilt it, and it would register the tilt. And the plan was you have your ball in the middle of the screen, and there will be other balls coming at you, and you need to dodge them. And the closer to the middle you were, the more points you'd gather. And the longer you lasted, the more points you gather. So
okay.
Can you get the top score? It was put up for free, I believe. Yeah, free on the Google Store, had adverts. And it was like every 3 attempts you'd get an advert, so it weren't too intrusive. It was hopefully to make a little bit of revenue, and that it just about covered its own cost for putting on the Google Store, which is I think £25 or $25.
Yeah, because you got to buy like a thing to set up the account and stuff, right? I've never done it myself, but I've looked into it.
Yeah,
so you got to like set up an account and pay them some sort of fee.
Yeah, with Google, it's a lot better than Apple. Apple, you have to pay $99 a year, I believe it is, to be an Apple developer and have your apps on there. Google, $25 once, and that's it. You can be a Google developer for the rest of your life.
Oh, that's why I'm a Google man right there.
Same here. So, yeah, it's great. Nice and easy, and the ad revenue covered the cost of it. But that was about it. So I made maybe $35 overall.
That's not bad.
But it's not too bad. That's, as I say, it's covered its own costs and give me a little bit. But that kind of just died a death. It disappears off the store if you don't update it after so many weeks or months. I proved to myself I could create a game and get it to a release level. And that's something I've heard is one of the hardest things to do.
Yeah, that's impressive.
So, great. I know I can do it. Fiddled around with a few more ideas and never really made anything of note that would actually amount to anything, so I didn't release anything else. And then Marbles on Stream existed.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw that, and I mean, the first thing that I noticed was, because I was Twitch streamer at the time as well, used to stream 3-4 nights a week, always playing different variety of games depending on my mood, really. And one of my ideas was to hopefully build up a bit of a following so that if I did create a game, I could stream it and have like free marketing for it.
Yeah. Create a little, make some waves with it.
Exactly. And that never really took off too well. I think I managed to get close to 30 average viewers over a 30-day period, which isn't too bad.
Yeah, that's about what I get.
For how long I was doing it and how much I was doing it, it wasn't paying off, and it could quite easily be. You could just have a night where you get 6 viewers. Did have a proper, consistent, decent sized community that would all be there every time. So,
gotcha.
It would be subtle that if you, absolutely, if you wanted to promote something, especially if you get a sponsored stream or something, you want to promote it. You're like, oh great, I've got 30 people that can come and look at that. That would be worth it. And then a handful of people turn up. You're like, that's not very good,
right?
And no offense to my former community, and they're all still around and stuff. They're all great people, but people have lives. You can't expect them to be there every time. Some people will only stick around for certain games as well, and that's perfectly reasonable. If you don't like watching me play a survival horror, then you're not going to come and watch me play a survival horror. Just like I won't watch anybody playing Overwatch because I don't care about it.
Yes, that's the way. Yeah, that's the cool thing about being able to play whatever you want. But then also, you have that problem, like you were just saying. Some people are like, oh, I don't like these kind of games, so I like that guy. He's cool, but I ain't gonna sit there and watch him play that garbage for an hour or two, you know.
Absolutely. I have had one exception in my Twitch experience where there's a guy, Baron Von Cheese.
Oh, that's a great name.
Lovely guy. Great name. Lovely guy over in the States. Don't arrest him, officer, but he partakes of the green.
Oh, no, that's fine. As long as he doesn't speed, that's okay.
Oh, you're just a speed cop. That's what.
Yeah, that's all I really care about. That's the gateway crime. I mean, he can sit and have his doobies or whatever, as long as he's not out there driving.
As well, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, he's a great guy, really chill, and somebody that me and my partner know on Twitch. We were watching him stream, and he raided into this Baron Von Cheese.
I love that.
Equal parts very chill, but very high energy. If you can understand what I mean with that.
Yeah. That's what I try to achieve myself.
But he's just really nice guy, really friendly. Couldn't do enough for you. If you're on his side, he's on your side, kind of a guy. He's had various different sponsorships through from coffee brands to energy drinks. He was a Wraith ambassador for a while. And he was playing a game called Splitgate. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it.
Spitgates?
Splitgate.
Oh, Splitgate. No, I haven't played that.
So if you think Portal, the hit from Valve, combined with I don't know, any kind of like a fast-paced arena shooter, and that's what you got. So they had this high-paced first-person shooter, like 5v5 type game with portal guns. So you fire over there, fire over here, and you can nip behind people, shoot people through portals. A brilliant concept.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
And I fell in love with the game. Him playing it is the reason I got into it and really enjoyed it. Started playing the game and it devoured my life. This was pre-baby. And all of a sudden he switched and started streaming Fortnite. And I've never been a fan of Fortnite. Always thought it was a terrible idea for a game. No, the idea is fine. It's just nothing appealed to me about the building.
Right.
But they introduced this zero build mode, which means you don't have to worry about the building part of it, which is where people were always just like, I can just build a thing. And, any kind of skill you had didn't matter for shooting people because they just do that. So they introduced this zero build and he started streaming the zero build. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to stick around for this. But because of how he was, I did. I still went to the streams. I still watched him. I even started playing Fortnite and joined him on stream playing Fortnite because he made it look so appealing, and just his energy on stream was fantastic. And he streamed at a convenient time for me as well.
That's a big deal too. Yeah, that's very helpful. Because I don't stream at a convenient time for you.
No,
it's like 1 o'clock in the morning for you or something like that.
Get back from the pub and I'm like, hey, suck up, son.
Yeah, maybe pre-baby we would have hung out a lot more.
Yeah, and if the baby ever has a rough night, then I know that I can pop Sup Cub on.
Yeah, that's true. She's what?
Yeah, that was
about cheese. Played the old Fortnite. I've played that a little bit with my little cousin. That's the only time I've ever played it. He came over one time and he was like, "Let's play Fortnite." So I was like, "All right." So we started playing, and it was actually kind of fun. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was surprised myself in how much I enjoyed it. But yeah, so I'd say that was an example where the streamer managed to keep me interested whilst he played a game that I had zero interest in. So and managed to get me playing it.
Yeah, man, you should get a check from the Fortnite peoples for that.
Absolutely. I mean, he's got a creator code and everything else like that, and stuff. But I think he's moved over to Kick now. He's trying Kick, see if that's any good.
Oh yeah. I keep meaning to try this and stuff.
Yeah, the discoverability on Twitch is terrible. Everyone knows that, and Kick being so new, there's more chance of getting noticed. But the worst thing about Kick is they don't have a chat API I can interact with for Duck Race, so can't make it work for Kick. So screw them.
Yeah, really. Get out of here, Kick.
Yeah,
get with the times.
People want to be playing interactive duck races. Anyway, we got a massively sidetracked there. I'm sorry, that's all my doing. Duck race, marbles on stream.
Marbles, yeah. I remember now.
So I saw that was getting so many thousand views every single day on Twitch. People were loving it. People were all in it. And I thought, oh, I'll give that a go. I'll download it, give it a stream, give it some playtime. And in order to play it, I had to join their Discord server, agree to some terms, go into a different channel in the server, find a download link, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, wow.
That's a bit much. High barrier to entry here. Free to play, but, you know, I want to be able to just go on Steam, marbles, click. It's there now. We've done it now, but back then it was all hidden. And I suppose it's, if they've created something and it's free to play, so they're not making any money off it, distribute it in a way that you can maybe, but you can kind of identify your audience, I guess, can't you? Because they're all in the Discord.
Yeah.
You know that they're there. But yeah, that blew up. People love it. People are always streaming it. It's great. It's not great. It's very, very janky. They've managed to make a product that people like. And
I've played it a few times myself. It's pretty good. It's tough to do though, because you gotta you gotta run the cameras and do all this kind of stuff. It makes it a little bit difficult for me because I ain't got no hands. But I have played it a few times. I like it a lot. But it's not as good as Duck Race. I tell you that.
Thank you very much. That was generally where Duck Race came in. I was like, okay, how can we do something similar that's different enough that it's its own thing, but really like capture the same audience, you know? And my mind ran through a few different ideas, and the easiest thing to me was rubber ducks. You don't have to animate them, and they're cute as all hell. And most importantly, you can put a hat on it. Putting a hat on it was what really made me think that's something that can be expanded on infinitely.
That's stroke of genius, if you ask me. Putting a hat on the ducks.
Look. If this one's going to show.
Oh, look at that.
Ceramic duck.
Oh, it's ceramic? Look at that.
Did it say ceramic? Yeah.
When it ain't rubber, it looks very breakable.
Yeah.
Yep, that's ceramic, I can tell you.
You went to one of those holiday places and they got their little paint your own thing and they'll cook it for you and stuff.
Oh yeah, those are fun.
It was good. So obviously had to have a duck. His name is Ralph.
After the game.
This was after the game. This was after the raid stuff, which I'll go into in a minute. Started trying to promote it a bit more using like some memes and having a character that people could Photoshop around and stuff like that. We created Ramph, who was a little bit yellow rubber duck, and he has the umbrella hat on.
Love that hat.
Propeller hat, sorry. The one with the little spinny on.
Oh, yeah.
And that's Ramph, and he's the mascot now. And so, yeah, created a little Ramph because...
Look at Ramph. Gorgeous blue eyes. Look at him. Oh, my goodness. Like a duck male model.
He should be.
Yeah, most definitely.
But yeah, I put the feelers out there in my community at the time, got some feedback, got some ideas, and realised that I could quite comfortably do low poly art, which, if you're not familiar, is low polygon count. I'm sure that was the right word. So no geometry, it's not too strenuous on a machine, so it should be able to run on lower end computers.
Oh, that's important too. Yeah.
Maximize your audience with that. That's something that World of Warcraft did very well in the early days. Made the game so accessible by having the minimum specs so low that anybody with a PC basically would be able to play it. And that's something I've always wanted to keep in mind when creating things, that people play it whatever the machine they want.
Yeah.
So
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
that's why you're the game maker and I'm the game player. You come up with the ideas and I just go, oh, look at that. That's great.
And I try 3D modeling. I can do a little bit more than I used to, but generally having something look nice in a 3D model I struggle with. So low poly, very easy for me to make. obviously low poly environments, so the trees can just be triangles, and then there's your little kind of environment there with your ducks and stuff. And yeah, I created little modules. I made it a modular setup, so there were, I think it was a 10 by 10 cube, basically, with the river cut out of it. So you'd have straights, you'd have turns, bends, loops, etc. And then I'd just snap to grid, build the little levels up, and created a series of maps with that. Shove your water in, off you go.
Oh wow! So that was all. You didn't like follow a tutorial to figure all that out. That was just sort of you just using the old noodle, figuring it out.
Yeah. What is the what are my abilities? What am I capable of?
Mm-hmm.
Used that to make what I need to make.
Oh man, see, that's brilliant. That's what I need. You need to teach me how to do that, because I come up with ideas, and then I'm like, can I probably do that? No. Well, here we go, and then and then disaster happens usually. Yeah. And I get upset, and then I get mad at myself, because I'm like, I couldn't make a rocket to go to the moon. I'm an idiot. I need to figure out how to focus on what I can do, and how to maximize that. That's good. This is good. I thought this was going to be just like an interview talking about duck race, but I feel like I'm in therapy right now. I'm becoming a better person talking to you.
That's great. It came from making a lot of mistakes. It came from learning that I needed to learn, really.
That's what you got to do.
Nah.
And so this whole time you're working on this, you got a you got a full-time gig. You got family obligations to do it, all that stuff. How do you find the time? Did you have to like tell everybody like, okay, on Wednesdays at 5:00 or whatever, this is duck time. I got to go in here and work on my stuff. Or did you just like squeeze it in when you could?
And just squeezed it in when I could. So it started in development 5 or so years ago.
Oh wow!
Really? I was in a different relationship, and I basically, from about 10 p.m. onwards every night, I had until like 2 a.m. on my own with no issues. So that's where I would spend the time developing or playing games or streaming. And yeah, the duck race started off the idea of it being very realistic, like high quality, realistic water, realistic environments, like real life duck races that these charity people do. And yeah, obviously adjust to my capabilities, made it what it is today. Released it just amongst friends, created a build, uploaded it to my own website, gave people a link to it. A few people would stream it, and it went very well. And then I'm trying to think of the order of things that happened now. There's a guy, name is John Robertson. He does a live entertainment show called The Dark Room. He's Australian comedian, and The Dark Room is a live text-based adventure game. Where he is the Guardian, I believe is the character's name, and you have 4 options: red, yellow, green, and blue. And the idea is you are in a dark room, you have to find the light switch. Here you go through your options and try and escape. And it was a live show for a good few years, I believe. And I went to see him up in Scotland for my stag do in my previous relationship. And I think I'd seen him before. I had seen him before at well, we're going on tangent after tangent here, just to get to who this person was. We had whilst I was developing Duck Race and some other little games and prototypes, I had a guy from TV follow me on Twitter. Over here we have a channel called Dave, which is I think it's owned by the BBC, but it's generally comedy shows. And they had a show called Dara O'Brien's Go 8-Bit, which was like a comedy gaming show where they had 2 teams of people playing video games against each other.
Go 8-Bit, I like that name. That's pretty good. That's clever.
It's pretty good. So that was actually founded by a comedy duo called Steve and Sam. Sam Pamphilon and Steve McNeil. Steve McNeil had his own show on, I think it was Jinx, a gaming TV channel over here. And he's been on YouTube and stuff like that. And they went to the Edinburgh Fringe show as a comedy double act, which they were. They did like kind of sketch comedy themselves. And they found that they actually made more money by doing side shows where they would just get drunk comedians that were like, they've all done their shows for the night at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. So they'd all go and meet up at a pub, and Steve and Sam would host this game show where they'd have their games, an old games console, or like an N64 or a Switch or whatever, and they'd get people up on the stage playing games against each other. And of course they were drunk, so it was just very entertaining.
Yeah.
So they started charging people for it, and they made more money doing that than they did from their regular show. So they were like, well, we've got something here. What can we do with it? And Dave, the channel, picked it up as a TV show.
Wow.
They coined the name of Go 8-Bit, and then Dave stole it, paid however much for the license and stuff, and kind of run it into the ground, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I think a lot of it was TV bureaucracy, kind of getting in the way of creativity and fun. So whilst they was doing I think it was the first series, Steve was actually looking around, I believe this is the case, I haven't had it confirmed, he was looking around on Twitter for small game developers that could help make some things for them. So they would always have like a little twist on a classic game or something that they've put them Dara Bree and the host into the game somehow. Or they've adjusted it so that it works with a different type of controller or that kind of thing. So that they were, and he followed me because obviously I was advertised as a game development on there. And we just started nattering. Went to see one of his live shows that he does called Wi-Fi Wars, which is a thing where you use your phone, you join the website, you connect to their local Wi-Fi, and the whole audience fights against each other in their games that they've got set up. They hold the Guinness World Record for the most people playing a single game of Pong, which
that's amazing.
I can't remember what the number is, but basically everyone was connected to Pong, and half of them controlled the one side, the other half controlled the other by voting, moving up and down.
Oh, wow. That's spectacular. Usually they beat the previous record of the most people playing Pong, which was 2.
It was quite an easy record to beat originally, I believe. Yeah.
They could have gone just 4 or 5 and probably got it, but they went bananas with it.
Yeah, I think that they actually have a competitor because they held it and then they lost it and then they got it again. So there's somebody else doing it as well.
Yep, the pioneers always get stepped on by the people coming behind them.
Yeah, that's me to marbles. That's exactly how that's going.
Oh yeah. That's right. I like that.
But yeah, so I'd gone to see one of his live shows, Wi-Fi Wars, and some people that were there that I'd met online through his community, really, said, "Oh, we're sticking around for the dark room after it." I had no idea what this was. I hadn't heard of it.
Sounds scary when you put it like that. Are you sticking around for the dark room after this? It's like, oh, I think I left my stove on. I've got to go.
So, guys, it's another sex dungeon. But I think one of the guys actually paid for my ticket, which was really nice of him. He's like, "Oh, yeah, I'll get you." Okay, cool. So I went in and I was in stitches. It was absolutely hilarious. So went to see him again on the Stag Do, chatted to him there. During COVID, he had to jump onto Twitch and perform it via Twitch online so that he could keep making money because he couldn't do a live tour because COVID. Fortunately for him, it worked well and he was able to make a living doing that still. And I can't remember exactly how it happened, but I ended up giving him Duck Race to stream. Gave him a copy of it for him to play. And he's directed a lot of it. He's helped with bug fixing and stuff, given feedback from his community. and he streamed a 52-hour marathon stream for charity.
Oh, wow.
Right? Yeah.
That's a lot of hours.
He got put on the front screen of Twitch to over 2,500 viewers, streamed duck race, and had like 270 odd ducks.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it was immense. The main issue was I just added the squeaking noise, when they bash into each other.
Yeah.
So the stream consisted of for like 20 minutes for every single race whilst they were fighting. They ended up losing it, obviously, but yeah, that was interesting to see.
Did you think whenever that happened, were you like, well, this is it? Here it goes.
Yep.
Now it's going to fly off the shelves and I'm going to have to play a duck race too.
And that was the thought, 2,000 people on Twitch seeing that. Definitely enjoying it because he's another one of these high energy guys. So him commentating it and him running through it would have given it its best shot. Me running it, I can't give it the pizzazz that the talented people like him and yourself can do. I'm just like, and then there's a duck and stuff around the corner and he's wearing a hat.
One's going to win the race and the others aren't.
Exactly. That's
exciting day on the pond here.
That's the level of my commentary. So I thought, okay, there's going to be enough people here that are going to recommend it to other streamers that they follow and stuff like that. And nothing really seemed to come of it, unfortunately. A lot of praise. Everyone that saw it and I was in the chat, they were like complimenting me, complimenting the game, saying I'd done a good job and stuff like that. Well, that was really nice. It was really kind of
yeah, that's cool. That's valuable in and of itself. I mean, not monetarily, but to let you know that you're going in the right direction. You got something there.
Yeah, exactly. And then shortly after, I think it was, I found out about this games expo that runs locally to me here in England. It's called Insomnia, which started as a 72-hour LAN party, basically.
Oh, wow.
Where people would just stay, they'd camp, and they'd just stay at this one venue for 3 days, playing on like LAN games, like Unreal Tournament and whatever you like.
Mm-hmm.
And they've just branched out into having an actual games expo as well on the side.
Well, look at it.
So that was really cool.
That's cool.
And it's right next to where I live. It's like a 20-minute drive. And they offered free spaces for indie developers. So I was like, sweet, I can definitely do that.
Yeah.
So signed up, got accepted, went, and I put the game up onto itch, which is where indie developers can put their games up for free and stuff. For £5, I think, and it sold enough as a result of that show for me to cover the £100 fee to put it onto Steam.
Oh, wow, okay.
So it cost me nothing to put it onto Steam then. And then from there, it's just, there's the slight bit of discoverability you get. It's easier to link to on Twitch. People are going to click through to Steam rather than itch. I've been to another Insomnia festival since with Steam links, the updated graphics that I did a short while ago, more hats, and it's continued to sell even more. What else was there? Was a short period where I was doing charity stuff with it.
Oh yeah.
So as I say, it started about 5 or so years ago, and then I stopped working on it for about 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously there was the last relationship that happened and things since, and a homelessness charity from the north of England had seen this duck race stuff on Twitter that I was that I had tweeted about, but obviously hadn't really said much about more recently. And it was when COVID had hit that they couldn't do physical duck races for charity fundraising, where they'd release a load of rubber ducks into a river.
Oh, so they would actually do it in real life for the chick.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. And then there you are being like, well, I've got the perfect virtual approximation of that.
Basically, yeah. They saw the clips that I posted to Twitter and stuff like that, and they were like, "Oh, could you make this work for a charity event?" And I was like, "I can't see why not." Jimmied around with the code for a little bit, had it so that they could get a list of all of the donations from like Tiltify or GoFundMe or whatever they had for their fundraising. Download a list of all of the donators, get them to input a colour and a hat and a name when they bought the duck, and upload it to the game. So then they upload this spreadsheet, and then there's a load of ducks that match the descriptions, the colour, the name, and the hat.
Brilliant.
And they absolutely loved it. They, I don't know how much they raised. I don't know how much they usually raise, but it was very good for them. They really enjoyed it. They really loved it. And as they post about it, more charities started to get in touch. And I can't remember how many. I've got a folder here which will tell you how many different charities I worked for with it.
Oh, wow.
And he says, 1, 2, 3, 7, technically 8, but 2 of them were the same person.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, different charities, and a couple of them I've worked with a number of times where, yeah, they just use it for the fundraiser, and they gave me a 10% cut. So I said, you can, it's a lot of effort and work for me to do this, and I would add any corporate sponsorship banners into the game. So where you've got Coca-Cola and Starbucks at the moment,
right?
The actual companies that sponsored the charity fundraiser.
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah, you got the billboards built in.
Exactly. Yeah, it was like I knew what to expect for some reason. So it was all just there, ready to go. But I had to obviously put the images in, make sure they weren't all skewed and stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't happen by magic, this stuff.
No.
So you sitting there typing and clicking away and doing the stuff.
It's free magic. So they give me a 10% cut, and that's absolutely fine with them. And yeah, made quite a bit of money from that to help fund further development of it. So I took that and ran with it to make it what it is now. Yeah. That's amazing. And I say it's just going kind of like from strength to strength. Every time I do a new thing, something new happens and helps progress the development.
I love that. What do you have? What is kind of your future for it? Do you have like a roadmap sort of planned out? I know you said you on Twitter. I think you said you carved out like November or something like that. You're gonna put a bunch of something in there, or was that something else?
There's there were what they're called like content updates for or like special events. So there's going to be some spooky stuff for Halloween.
Oh.
There's going to be some Christmas time stuff. I think we did Valentine's this year. Probably do Valentine's again. There's Easter. We do stuff for. So decorating the maps differently to fit the seasons. Have exclusive and timed cosmetics. So you'd have your different hats and things like that. But as for actual roadmap, there's no timing set to any of it. But generally, want to do more of an overhaul of the UI. We need to add extra settings for graphic settings, window size, volume, etc. There are a couple of things that we want to add, which is the sparkles that I get and that you now get for being a Patreon supporter.
Yep. I'm sparkly every time I play the game now.
It's fantastic. Everyone loves the sparkles. That is going to be made into a like a bit tier option for the streamers. So if you were to set it up, you could set the value that you want it to be. So if you want it to just be 1 bit, you can set it to 1 bit. If you want to be really harsh with it, set it to 1,000. But anybody that would cheer pre-race, so like whilst they're like still waiting, ready to go, they will get given the sparkles based on the settings that you give it.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I like that.
And so that for me is a reason for streamers to use it for monetization purpose. And that could then help, fund people doing giveaways and stuff, which would hopefully encourage people to play the game more. And obviously works that way.
Yeah.
So I want to add that. Something else like that. The custom names thing is possibly problematic, because you always get somebody in the chat that is an unsavory character and will do whatever they can to get a slur in or anything like that. Fortunately, your communities are all very nice and law abiding.
Yeah, luckily I've had a few that pushed it a little bit, but nothing horrible at all.
No.
I was surprised. I almost didn't tell people they could do it because of that. But
That's
luckily,
what I've found happens.
Yeah.
Most of the time, people are like, "Oh, I don't trust my community to."
I got to give them that power because it doesn't have like built-in. I mean, obviously, people can monkey around with it and add different letters and whatever, but doesn't it have like a filter thing in there? Isn't that a thing?
There's a very basic filter in there. There is something you can buy which like covers all of it, and it's really, really good, but it's quite expensive, and it's like a pay subscription type deal.
Oh, that's no good.
Very expensive to do, so I won't be doing that. But there's a basic filter in there, and the filter settings in Twitch chat actually restrict it before it gets to the API. So if you have your vanity filter on, so anyone types any of those words, it just blanks it out. It blanks it out in the name as well. So they would end up like with a blank name, or you just won't change their name depending on how severe you set the restrictions.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yes,
so there
automatically does that. Yeah,
there are protections in there.
Yeah,
but depends on the community. Luckily, like you said, my people have been really good, which has been surprising. They haven't been too rascally with it, but it's worked.
Most people are really good, to be fair. What you'll find is it's the people who aren't regulars that are going around to try and say that stuff anyway that are going to be doing it. So
that's true.
You've already booted out your chats. But obviously the problem is if it gets too big, people go around looking for games that are like people are streaming and will target it if they know they can abuse it. So I do need to get something a bit more. But what I wanted to do, what I was going to do is have it so that was an option. So you can have custom names on or off. So if you trust your community, John, if you've got a, you must be following for X minutes before chatting or something like that, then you can have it on. And if you're open to everybody, you're kind of at risk of those kinds of people, you can switch it off and then you're safe. So that's one of the things I want to add as well. And then, of course, there's just the matter of adding more maps, because it is quite restricted. There's only 6 maps, I believe, off the top of my head, 6 maps plus the Battle Royale. And I want to do more Battle Royale style maps as well as more regular maps.
How long does it take you to like make a map and stuff? Because obviously you make it, and then you got to run it a bunch of times to see like where people get stuck all the time or things like that. How long did it normally take to do one?
A regular map is, I can do it in a day, really. If I've got a good design like planned out in my head,
right?
Then I can. I say because it's modular, I'll build it all up in Blender.
Oh yeah,
Blender. Tool. Yeah. So I've got all the modules. I'll put it into there, snap them all in, and then I'll like merge the mesh into one. Shove that over into Unity and then decorate it with trees or whatever it would be. And then, test the running of it, which most of the time, because of how I created the modules, no one really gets stuck on those. It's only the environment. If I add extra rocks and trees and stuff like that. So, and I've learned what works for getting people stuck and what doesn't. So make sure it's at least that far away from the edge of the shoreline and things like that, just to make sure there's not too much of a long straight, so people can get too much speed and fly up over the edge, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But one of those I can churn out in a day, maybe 2 with extra testing. But the Battle Royale took about a month and a half overall, because I'm sure you can see it's completely different to everything else that I've done.
Oh yeah,
it's like a lot more realistic a map. Higher quality like models and textures and stuff, got all fancy like mist and smoke and fire going on. So
And plus, you had to come up with like the hit point system or however it works, where they run into each other. Like that's a whole
Yeah.
thing you didn't have to worry about.
Yeah, there's so
And
much
they have to
action around
die and sink to the bottom of the tub.
the sinking to the bottom of the tub one was tricky for a while. What was happening if they died and were flung out of the bath at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
So to make it sink properly, or to make it look more like a real sinking, I reduced the mass of the duck so it was a little bit more gentle. But what would happen if they died and they got flung out of the bath? They would still have low mass, so they'd be like really floaty throughout the air.
Space ducks.
But then that's, you say space ducks, that's the next step. Where do we go next with ducks? We can have ducks in space.
Oh yeah, there you go. I like that. Yeah, you put them inside like a big space cardboard box and let them bop around or something. I don't know.
Yeah, there's like, as soon as the battle royale was done, it's like, ideas started flooding in, and what can we do next with it?
Yeah, I was wondering about that because if you look at the main, you open up the main screen and you got like, there's the race tracks, you got the battle royale, and then there's a button right here that says like coming soon or something. And the first time I saw that, I'm like, I wonder if he knows what's going in that box, or if he's like, well, I just accidentally made this box. I better put coming soon. I'll figure out something to put in there.
Yeah, well, what I wanted to do is have it more, Mario Kart. You've got your different cups.
Oh, yeah.
There's the flower cup, the
mushroom cup.
Mushroom cup, yeah. I wanted to have it a bit more like that. So you'd have like, I don't know, the mallard cup, the teal cup, and greens of duck. And try and have more of a theme with it. One of the things I wanted to do with the theme was, I can remember this, like real life rivers. So you'd have like the Amazon. What I was mainly thinking of like inner city ones. So you could have the Thames through London.
Mm-hmm.
You could have.
I was gonna say the Thames, but I was like, I don't want to tell the Englishman about the Thames River.
What's the one in the Seine in Paris?
Oh yeah, the Seine. Yep. Very famous rivers.
And then other one.
You could do the mighty Mississippi River here in America and have like hillbillies standing on the side playing banjos and stuff.
Playing banjos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like to have a pack of like real life famous rivers would be good and you could like to have more of an environment around it. One of the things that I suffered from with the maps that you see today is giving them all like their own character,
right?
And to make something about the level. So you've got your gentle swim, which is just a little swim through the river. You've got what's called paradox for your split one.
Yep.
But there was no like specific environment for that one. It was just, here is a place that's got two rivers. The river splits off and it comes in. It's called paradox. But what else is there? There's nothing about it. So I added the two duck rocks, which is like a feature point in the map, to give it a feature. So now it's got something about it. You've got the Snowy Beaks, which is the one with the cable car and the ski lift. You've got the ski resort there.
Yeah, people love that one. People love the ice level.
It's one of my favourites as well. If not the favourite. The beach one with the big sandcastle and stuff, I was really proud of that when I finally kind of got around to doing something with it. So what can I do with the beach? How can I make it more? And I was like, set it up like a beach. Like really tiny ducks with big oversized beach furniture and stuff in the sandcastle.
Oh, that's true. I didn't really even think about that until you just said that. But yeah, the scale does change in that level. It's not. I never really thought about it because you got the in the river, which we're getting in the weeds of this game right now, which is exactly what I wanted to do. But if anybody hasn't played this game, they may be like, "What are they going on about?" But you should definitely play it. You can come on my stream and play it. There's usually somebody playing it on the thing, or buy it yourself and get it and play it. But anyways, yeah, I never noticed that the scale changed because in the ice thing, you got like skis and snowboards. And they're like not that much bigger than the ducks. And then you go up to the beach level and there's like surfboards and everything. And they're like skyscrapers way up there.
Yeah. There was a guy that I spoke to. So where I work is a game studio. And I'm just the analyst there, but they have level designers, very talented people.
Oh,
And I spoke to one of the designers there, and he said, "What you want is the hero paint. It was called hero paint, but that makes the level its own, which is why you've got your sandcastle, you've got your ducks made of rock, you've got your ski lift, something to make each level identifiable, a hero point to build a story around, really." And that's what I want to do. And that's one of the reasons I struggle with making new maps currently is I need a story point. I need a story to tell with this map to actually make it worthwhile. But if I go for cities or famous rivers, then I've got a theme and I've got a pack that I can build. There are other themes I can do. And one of them suggested by my partner is we'll come up with a nicer term for it, but a bodily functions one. So there could be like a vomit river, a blood river.
oh my goodness gracious! That really would match your shirt right there. That's what that duck is interested in right there. That's like an acid river or something he's in.
I think it's just I think it's meant to be undead.
This is a zombie duck.
The brand is Wraith. Yeah, like a zombie duck.
Rain. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, let's get into that too. How did that happen? You've got like a partnership with an energy drink company. How did that come about?
They released a flavor called Gamer Bathwater, which is a joke about what's her name?
Yeah, what's her name? Selling her bathwater.
Yeah, Bao Dao Fi
Yeah.
selling her bathwater, and obviously became a bit of a joke and a meme. So they released Gamer Bathwater flavor, and with every shipment they send a little rubber duck, and so people would send pictures of their rubber duck with their Wraith shipment, and
that's brilliant.
I can't remember exactly which one it was I replied with, but I quickly created a little Wraith hood, which you would have seen in the featured tab of the accessories.
Mm-hmm.
Put it onto the duck, took a screenshot and replied to them with rate my Wraith cosplay. And the guy that does their streams and a lot of their social media management and stuff replied to it, tagging in the gaffer of Wraith, saying, "Can I buy this game now for our streams?" I was like, "Oh, hello." So he must have been aware to some degree. Somebody's mentioned it or something to because it sounded like it had been discussed before. So I sent him a key, dropped into his DMs, dropped him a key, and started the conversation there. So, what can we do? It'd be cool to do like a bit of collaboration. And I thought they were going to just do a limited edition Gamer Bathwater tub where they just changed the branding on it to Crace.
Mm-hmm.
And I would promote Wraith in the bathtub Royale. Because I told them I was planning on making this version. It would work really well, very in sync. And I branded it up for them. And he's like, "Yeah, sounds good." I was at Insomnia at the time, or it was just before Insomnia. That's one that we went to. So I was like, "I'll talk to you afterwards, and we'll see how we can work together." And next thing they're sending me promos of the label, which you can see. You got the tubs here, which will
my goodness.
Here. So you've got the Duck Race logo. So the promo image there, you've got the logo.
That is too cool.
And they've given it a shout out and description on the side of the tub and everything. And it's a really nice flavour as well. They're doing really well. It's a strawberry lemonade flavour.
Ooh.
And it is absolutely delicious. I've never drank Wraith before. I tried Sneak because they were promoting at one of the Insomnias. They gave a load of free sachets out. And they all taste a little bit chemically, these sachets of energy drink powder. And as soon as I tried this Wraith, that's actually just delicious. It's not too powdery. It's not chemically. There were a lot of vitamins and stuff like that there. The list of the supplements is quite impressive. Loads of vitamin C, B1, B3, B5, B6, and B12.
Bingo.
You sunk my battleship. So yeah, they sent me the images of that. I was like, oh, you're making your own flavor, like it's a different flavor. That's crazy. But
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
appreciate it. And they released it as a limited edition bundle T-shirt like this. The tub, I think a shaker. I think you got a shaker with it as well. And they released that onto their website, and pre-orders only. It was up for a couple of days before, like, they then shipped them a week or so later.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the sales figures were like, but they seem to have done really well, because they had a load of people asking if they could still get the shirts because they really liked the shirt and they missed the pre-order. They only saw like people post them on social media before they realised that it was a thing. And they put the T-shirts back up for a short while because they did another run of them, but obviously limited still. Put the T-shirts back up, put the tubs back up, and they're now a regular feature on the website. They just stock the duck flavour.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that's just really cool. And yeah, in return for them doing that, I put the branding in the game. They will be at some point doing like a partner push for us, where I've given them 30 game keys to give to their partners and ambassadors and stuff to stream as a promotion. And they're going to have some kind of competition, like the best clip of the Bathtub Royale will win a tub and a shirt and stuff like that. And so,
oh, that's cool.
Some very stuff. Yeah. I got sent 2 tubs, bunch of shakers, a couple of T-shirts, one for me and one for my partner. We'll be both wearing them at Insomnia in September.
Oh, that's coming up soon.
Yeah. A mate of mine, he's coming down that weekend to help out with the show, and he's got a T-shirt that he's going to be wearing as well, like the same T-shirt.
You look like a team. I like it.
They're like a team, yeah. And they all, I'm not sure if I can turn around enough to show it, but they all say Wraith on the background.
Oh, that's
true.
Yeah. Yeah, I see Ace. I imagine
Ace.
there's a W and an R in there.
It should be on that side.
There it is. Now we're talking. We'll just have to put those 2 pictures together.
Splice them together.
Yeah. Don't worry.
And I'm talking to the guy still about what we can do for Insomnia, because obviously we'll be inadvertently promoting Wraith as part of promoting Duck Race. So I think they're going to give us a bunch of sachets to give away, possibly some T-shirts, some other merch, and yeah, have a little bit of like a sponsored booth going on there, which would be really fun. They've just released a new bundle, so a lot of the things that are getting kind of pushed down the road for us is they've got their fingers in so many pies. They sponsor a motorbike racer, and I think there was an accident at a race.
Oh no!
This week or a couple of weeks ago. Everyone's fine.
Oh,
but they just need to make sure that everybody was fine, and so that obviously took a lot of their attention. And they've just released a new flavour called Son of the Beach, which is a peach iced tea flavour, I believe.
Oh man, yeah, I saw the because I think I follow them now because of you, so I see their tweets or the ones that you replied to or something, anyways. But I see their
I retweet some of them, some of their stuff and that. Yeah,
I need I need to see if they ship over here to the States. I'd like to try some.
I believe they do. I believe they're worldwide. I'm sure we can get a tub sent over to you, or at least some sachets.
Oh my goodness, yeah,
just to try it out.
I'd love to. I've never had one of those powdered energy drink things before. I didn't even know it was a thing until I saw that.
Yeah, I knew they were a thing. I've never tried them, but yeah, the Wraith one is definitely the best one I've tried since I have tried some.
Which is good. I love it that it's actually a tasty product, because that would be.
Yeah, I wouldn't endorse it as much as I have done if it was bad.
Yeah, if it tasted like garbage, you'd be like, hey, look, it's got my Duck Race on it, but buy it for the tub. Pour the stuff out. That's no good. Keep the tub. But I'm glad it actually tastes good. That helps to promote something, because I've done that before. Yeah. A buddy of mine, he was a coffee roaster, so we did a limited edition coffee thing, and luckily it was delicious, because I would have been like, hey, everybody buy this coffee. It tastes like mud, but you should buy it anyway because I get like $5.
Yeah,
but it tasted good, so I love that whenever you work with it. You're I really like all this story, and I've learned a lot about it because you're very DIY. You just doing it yourself. You just and I admire that a lot in a person, to just be like, hey, I'd like to make a game, and then you don't wait on somebody to be like, hey, you look like you might be good at this. Why don't you do it? You just say, I'm just going to do it myself.
Yeah.
And you're out there, and you're just making these connections and stuff. That's a beautiful thing. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, I spent so much time trying to get an entry-level job in the games industry that it's so tough that,
Oh, man.
yeah, I'd still be waiting if I were to do that. Well, I'd be waiting until about now, because now where I work is, as they were a game studio, and they're
Yeah, you'd probably be able to weasel in. Yeah, be like, hey, what are you guys doing? Oh, what if you click over to next thing you know, whammo, game guy. But now you got it. You said you're calling the shots.
Yeah.
You decide what goes on in the next thing.
I think producing or creating Duck Race myself helped get me this job, because like, he was mentioning to me in my interview, it was in my CV and stuff of like, so you guys call it a resume.
Yeah.
It's so I think it definitely helped with like explaining that I definitely know what I'm talking about and what I'm doing when it comes to making games. So,
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you got that after the Duck Race. Okay. I didn't know how long you'd been there. I didn't know if you'd been there 10 years or whatever. That's good. It came
year and a half?
Duck Race.
Year and a half, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, good. That's spectacular. You taking your hobbies, the things you love to do, turning them into careers, which is helping you make the hobby into more of a career. You're a self-made man. That's what I like. That's what I like to hear. That's beautiful. Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I know you got to get back to the baby.
Got a baby to tend to shortly, but yeah. I was going to say before we go.
Yeah. Is there anything else you needed to add? I'm a big fan. Your Patreon is a thing. I could talk about that in the outro, but I'm a proud member of your Patreon.
You are. It's much appreciated. I need to add more content. I do what I can, but obviously things are a little bit more slow on it now. There are duck feeding videos that need to be added, and I will get back to that. We currently have an issue of blue-green algae in our local lake, so duck feeding, that is a little bit deterred right now. But once that clears off, we'll be back. But I could just find ducks another park, and exist.
Yeah, that's out there. But I believe one of the posts that you did was about, and I really enjoyed reading it. You were talking about how you made the levels, and you sort of showed kind of like the little wireframe behind the scenes of like kind of how it's built and stuff. That's very interesting. I like that kind of stuff too. That's worth the price of signing up alone, just to see that kind of stuff.
Oh, I'm glad. That's the kind of stuff I want to talk about, but I don't know if people want to hear about it.
Well, I can't speak for anybody else, but I love it. I think that's super.
I'm glad you like it. I'll definitely do more of those when things continue. Yeah, I guess we've covered pretty much all of it. Then we've covered the charity stuff. We've covered the race stuff. Covered the game itself. There is a new project in development at the moment. So whilst I'm working on Duck Race and slight improvements, I'm working on another project which is completely different.
Oh wow!
The working title is Tag, and it's generally the plan is for it to be like an arena tag game. Customizable characters that you can change your skin, you can change your hat. Obviously hats.
Gotta have hats.
Have to have hats.
I bought a game the other day, and it wouldn't let me put hats on my character. I deleted it immediately.
It's absolutely refund.
Well, yeah, refund. Give me back my money if you can't put a hat on it. I don't want nothing to do with it.
But yeah, it's coming on slowly. It's my first time doing a proper multiplayer game, network programming and stuff like that. It's a ball ache.
Ooh.
And
ball ache. I'm gonna start using that in my everyday life now. That's great. Thank you for introducing me to that.
You can have that one. And it's as I'm sure you are aware of the game Tag, where
yeah, we have that in America.
No, it's not much more than that, but it's going to have like a series of maps. It's going to have a few different game modes. Obviously the customizations, we're going to try and make it more like a proper fun competitive game for people to play on stream and stuff like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, that's something exciting. It's something that has a larger audience. If you're thinking the money side of things,
right, yeah.
because at the moment it's only streamers that can really benefit from owning Duck Race. So a much
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
smaller market than other games. But
Well, you can
gives me
you
something
can
else.
manually add ducks though, right?
You can now, yeah. Using F2, you can add anybody. So I mean, partly it works on any streaming service now. So you can use it on Kick or Mixer or Trovo or whatever any of the other ones are. Or even YouTube. If you're doing a live stream on YouTube, you hit F2, put your people from the chat in, ask them what they want, and you can do it like live in person.
Yeah. If you had family over, you was playing some games or whatever, you'd be like, hey, let's do a duck race. Add people in.
Yeah, I had a birthday party December last year. My partner arranged it all for me. It was amazing.
Oh,
and
happy late birthday, by the way.
My brother came over and he had suggested doing a duck race as part of the party. And there was family there, there were friends there were people who are online, there were people who aren't really online.
Right.
And we managed to get it set up and we had an absolute blast. My partner came upstairs, she ran the game from here. We had it live streamed and broadcast on the TV in the lounge. And we all played it, we all joined in. Other people from my online community joined in as well because they saw that I was streaming live. And I think the winner had to do a shot or something just because to keep the party vibes going on.
Yeah.
And my mum, bless her, won about 3 races in a row. So
oh my goodness gracious!
Shot after shot. You're so good. But yeah, for parties, I didn't think it would work, but it is a real good laugh. So yeah, there is that extra use of it. You don't need to be online to stream it. I think you can just have it, load it up, cast it to a TV from a PC somewhere, and run it from there. And
add in your ducks and rock and roll down the pond.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that's all good fun.
That's beautiful. Where can people find you? Do you have a website? Where do you want people to go when they're like, man, I like this guy, I'd like to give him $100?
We do have a website. It's ibzy.co.uk, but it's a little bit outdated. It was originally, the page that's on there was set up for the first Insomnia we went to, but the links are on there for Steam and everything still. To get the game, you can follow us on Twitter at Ibzy Studios, IBZY, Ibzy. We're also on that new one, Blue Sky.
Oh, you're on that one yet? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's more me as personal rather than the Duck Race stuff, but that's just because I haven't been able to add a Duck Race one yet. But yeah, just search for Ibzy on Blue Sky if you're on Blue Sky, if you've had the benefit of an invite code. But yeah, Twitter is where we post most of that stuff. Anyway.
Yeah, that's where I do most of my talking to you.
And still where everyone is at the moment. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. I'm excited. It used to be like, every once in a while, I would play ducks whenever I would do the stream. But now people expect it at the last 45 minutes or so of my stream. People are like, all right, it's time for ducks. I was like, no, I wasn't going to. Well, all right then. They demand it.
Yes,
they demand ducks.
Yes.
So I had.
Very pleased to hear this. I see that you did 7 races of duck race. At whatever time is 3 a.m. for me.
Oh wow! Yeah,
you're the last person to stream duck race, and then you did another one 2 nights ago.
Look at this data analyst over here, running the numbers and things.
I see it all. There is a guy. You know the poker bra hat. I'm not sure if. I can't remember if I added it to the featured or not.
I don't think
it was in the Steam update, the latest Steam update. It mentions this poker bra, which is a brassiere which sits on the duck's hat. It's all poker themed.
Oh yeah. I've gotten that one by doing the random before. I don't know. Okay, yes, poker bra. Yeah. That's
poker bra with AHS on the end of it. So this is it's another streamer, and this is something that I was hoping would take more. Pick up a bit more. Poker players, people who stream poker on Twitch, a lot of the thing, they like to play marbles, in between games and stuff like that. And this guy picked up Duck Race, and he's been streaming, getting 100 odd ducks in a race at a time.
Yeah, I saw you tweeting about that.
He's like he's given us loads of good feedback. He's spotted a load of bugs that only really happen when you've got a higher capacity and stuff. So he's been really good for that. Great guy. So I want to give him a little bit of a shout out. It's only fair dues. But yeah, I was hoping that as a result of him doing it, more poker streamers would pick it up and play it. And there've been a couple, 2 or 3, but nothing big yet.
Yeah, they definitely should.
Definitely. Yeah.
It's a whole lot of fun, man. You've made something really fun here.
I'm very proud of it. I'm very pleased with how it's been received. People do genuinely seem to enjoy it, which is good. They're not just being nice. Hearing nice words like that from like your friends and family is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
From complete randoms that you found the game all on your own, from what I can remember.
Yeah. No, I was just looking around. Let's see. No, what did I type in? I was looking on Steam. I was trying to find marble-esque game, like that I could play on stream. And I think I just searched Twitch, and then like down on page 2 or something like that, I saw Duck Race, and I was like, that appeals to my interests. It scooped it up.
Well, that's good.
Maybe somebody told me. I don't remember.
Yeah. There have been people who have been discovering it through word of mouth or just searching for the right thing, and that's amazing to me as somebody who's just like releasing it on my own with no publisher, no marketing.
Yeah, you ain't got no commercials or nothing out there.
No, and yeah, to have people just finding it and enjoying it is fantastic. And one of the things, the data that I have, see, I've got it set up so I can see who's streamed it and stuff. If I happen to catch somebody who's streaming it live, it's like their first time.
Mm-hmm.
I always like to go and drop in and see them and be like, hey, how's it going? Make sure that they don't have any problems. And that seems to be appreciated by them all. So that's good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you popped into mine one time. I felt starstruck. I was like, oh dear. I hope I'm streaming it right. I got the big cheese right here watching me.
Now you've got your own exclusive hat.
I know. Yes. I got my own hat, which thank you very much for that. That was all. When you told me that was there, I could not wait. Could not wait to get home and stream it.
As soon as we saw it, you've got your look. When people have a defined look, it's a lot easier to make an exclusive accessory for them.
Oh yeah, and you already had the hat, and the glasses.
The hat and the sunglasses. I had to add the moustache, so the moustache is a thing that's on its own.
Oh yeah.
Well, if you wanted to, if you ever just want to, you're off duty,
just have a nice mustache. What's going on? Something in the sea? Loch Ness Monster?
Maybe. There's something about it.
Well,
anyway, I suppose we'll wrap it up. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for talking to me. I'm a big fan, and I wish nothing but good things for you. If there's anything I could do to help spread the word, the Duck Gospel, or whatever other projects you got going on, you just reach out to your old pal Sock Cop, and I'll tell the 8 or 9 people that care about what I do. And then maybe they'll tell a couple of people, and the next thing you know, whammo. Marbles what?
Yeah.
It's all about the duck races now, baby.
Yeah, marbles what? That's what we're aiming for. Hashtag marbles what?
Marbles what? What is that game? Never heard of it before. Is that like a Fortnite? I don't know. I'm too busy playing duck race to know about that.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much, my friend, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you. I'll catch you later.
Wow. Great interview, Sock. And I can't wait to check out that game.
Oh,
that
yeah.
Sounds really good.
Yeah, that's some good stuff right there. It's some good stuff. Ibzy, he's a cool guy. I'm very excited to see what he works on next.
Yeah. All right. Hey, man, it's been great talking to you. I'm going to play Duck Race.
All right. Yeah, let's go play Duck Race, everybody.
You have reached the end of this episode. Please exit the podcast at a reasonable speed.